The night the alien warrior whispered my name outside my apartment door, I understood that hiding had never truly worked. I froze in the darkness, one hand on the old service pistol I hadn't fired in years, the other pressed against my ribs as if I could still feel the scar beneath my shirt. The city beyond my window hummed, traffic drones, rain on neon, the dull throb of a world that pretended it wasn't afraid anymore. But the voice had cut through all of it. Elias Vance, it said softly. Not threatening. Not loud. Certain. No one was supposed to know that name anymore. I hadn't used it since the war. I held my breath, counting the seconds. 1, 2, 3. The hallway light outside flickered, then dimmed as if the building itself sensed what stood beyond my door. I never forgot you, human, the voice continued. And I told you I would return. My fingers trembled, because I recognized the cadence. The strange, almost musical way the words bent around human language. I knew who stood there, and I knew why she had come. But that was only the beginning. The war with the Carthel Dominion had ended 7 years ago, at least officially. The history feed said humanity survived because of alliances, strategy, sacrifice. They never mentioned the jungle moon of Rexra. They never mentioned the day a single alien warrior dragged a wounded human through fire and blood instead of letting him die. They never mentioned her. I eased the door open an inch. She filled the hallway like a memory that refused to fade. Taller than any human, armored in matte black plates etched with faint silver glyphs that pulsed slowly like a heartbeat. Her helmet was off. Pale ash blue skin. Eyes like molten gold, glowing softly in the dark. Carthel. My chest tightened. Talrin, I whispered before I could stop myself. Her eyes sharpened. A flicker of something, relief? Satisfaction? Crossed her face. You remember, she said. How could I forget? My voice cracked. You left me bleeding in the mud and vanished. Pause. Heavy. Loaded. I was ordered away, she said. That is not the same as forgetting. Behind her, the corridor cameras sparked and died one by one. That should have terrified me. Instead, it felt like destiny finally catching up. She stepped inside without waiting for permission. The door slid shut behind her, seals hissing. My apartment suddenly felt small, fragile, temporary. Taurin's gaze swept the room, cataloging everything. The bare walls. The half-packed bags I never fully unpacked. The metals shoved into a drawer I hadn't opened in years. You live like someone preparing to flee, she said. Old habit, I replied. The universe keeps changing its mind about letting me stay alive. She studied me then. Really studied me. Her eyes lingered on my limp, on the faint tremor in my left hand. They broke you, she said quietly. I laughed, sharp and humorless. You should see what they did to the rest of us. Silence stretched. Thick. Uncomfortable. Finally, I asked the question burning through me. Why are you here, Talrin? Her jaw tightened. The warrior facade slipped just enough for me to see the weight beneath it. Because the Dominion lied, she said. And because your name has returned to our war councils. My stomach dropped. What do you mean returned? She reached into her armor and projected a hologram into the air. A human silhouette rotated slowly, overlaid with alien symbols and genetic markers. Was me. Or something built from me. What I saw next changed everything. Talrin explained as the city slept around us. During the final months of the war, the Carthel High Command had begun a forbidden project. One that merged human neural adaptability with Carthel combat physiology. Hybrid soldiers. Perfect weapons. The program was abandoned when the war ended. Or so they claimed. Your blood, Talrin said, voice low, was used as the template. My skin crawled. That's impossible. I was just an infantry grunt. You were more, she said. On Rexra you survived wounds that should have killed you. You adapted. Your neural response times exceeded projections. I was ordered to retrieve you. I remembered then. The strange scanners. The way Carthel medics watched me like a puzzle. And you didn't, I said. Her eyes darkened. I disobeyed. The room felt colder. Why? She met my gaze, unflinching. Because you chose mercy when logic demanded slaughter. Because you carried an enemy child from the ruins instead of finishing the mission. Because you reminded me that honor is not obedience. My throat tightened. I had carried that guilt for years. The child. The screams. The tribunal that followed. They erased my records, I said. Labeled me unstable. Discharged me. Yes, Talrin said. And now they have found you again. A new hologram flickered into existence. Coordinates. A Carthel deep space facility. They want to finish what they started, she said. And this time they will not ask. None of us were prepared for the truth. I wanted to run. That instinct screamed through me loud and desperate. But another part, the part forged in trenches and fire, knew running would only delay the inevitable. So what? I asked. You're here to abduct me? Her expression softened just slightly. No, she said. I am here to give you a choice. A choice. The word echoed. Come with me, Talrin continued. Voluntarily. We expose the project. And it. Or you stay and the Dominion will take you by force. Your world will suffer for it. You expect me to trust you? I snapped. After 7 years of silence? Her voice dropped to a whisper. Every day I was gone, I remembered the weight of you on my shoulder as I carried you from the battlefield. I remembered the way you told me your name as if it mattered. My anger faltered. Outside, thunder rolled. What happens if we fail? I asked. Her eyes burned brighter. Then we die. Simple. Honest. Terrifying. I nodded slowly. Then let's finish this. But that was only the beginning. The Carthel ship was nothing like the human vessels I'd known. Organic curves. Living metal that hummed beneath my feet. The stars bent strangely through its viewports, as if space itself respected its passage. As we jumped into hyperspace, Talrin stood beside me, rigid. You are afraid, she said. So are you, I replied. Pause. Yes, she admitted. The facility emerged from the void like a scar, black, angular, surrounded by defense arrays that bristled with quiet menace. Inside, the truth unfolded in pieces. Hybrid soldiers. Rows of them. Some human. Some alien. Some neither. And at the center of it all, a figure that looked like me. Same face. Same scars. Eyes empty. My knees buckled. That's not me, I whispered. It is what they would make you, Talrin said. Alarm screamed. We'd been expected. And then the mid-story truth slammed into me like a blade. The project hadn't been built from my blood alone. It had been built from my memories. From neural scans Talrin herself had unknowingly provided when she carried me to safety years ago. I didn't know, she said, horror flooding her features. They used me. Betrayal burned. Not of her, but of fate itself. We fought our way through steel and fire. Through reflections of what I could have been. At the core, the lead commander awaited us. The hybrid is inevitable, he said. But you, Elias, you are still useful. Talrin raised her blade. So am I, she said. The final confrontation was chaos and clarity intertwined. I made the choice they never expected. I overloaded the core. Sacrificed the chance to expose everything, to end it forever. Talrin dragged me onto the ship as the facility tore itself apart, light blooming behind us like a dying star. Silence followed. We drifted among the stars, systems damaged, future uncertain. You chose destruction over legacy, she said quietly. I chose freedom, I replied. For all of us. She considered that. Then nodded. The ship turned, not toward Earth but toward the unknown. Where are we going? I asked. She looked at me, golden eyes steady. Somewhere they cannot find you, she said. If you wish. I thought of the city. The door. The life I'd been pretending to live. I wish, I said. Talrin inclined her head. A warrior's salute. And something more. As the stars stretched into light, I felt the past finally loosen its grip. The universe was still dangerous. Still watching. But for the first time since the war, I wasn't running. And somewhere between the echoes of who I was and who I might become, an alien warrior kept her promise. And I stepped into a future that no one could ever take from me again.